Round one is just about here, thankfully, after the opening round, schmozzle, if you want to call it that. And it's time to do the weekly footy tips. So let's get stuck into it. First game, Thursday night, the Tigers up against the Blues. Look, as much as I would love to say Richmond are going to win this one, I just don't see it happening, unfortunately. Even without Curnow, the Blues, I think, are going to be too strong. But I think we might hang with them for the first quarter and a bit, maybe 2 quarters. But look, the Blues are a potential top 4 side, and I think they'll get us by about 40 or 50 points in the end. But yeah, hopefully the young Cubs can show some promise. The Friday night game, Hawthorn up against the Bombers. It's hard to go past the Hawks. They are looking really, really nice. And their backline's only going to get more and more settled as they get more time together with Barras and Joshy Battle. Sicily going forward proves to be another good trick up their sleeve as well. And Will Day is an absolute freak. So the Hawks should get the job done there. Geelong up against Fremantle. This is a really tough one. Fremantle, I think, a lot of widely tipping as being a top 4 side, as are the Cats. I think being at GMHBA Stadium probably tips the ledger in Geelong's favour ever so slightly. So for that reason, I'll go Geelong, but I won't be shocked if Freo give him a really good run. Although they don't have Hayden Young. Bolton could be under an injury cloud. Sean Darcy's out, but I know Luke Jackson plays well when he's not in there. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they go, but we'll go the Cats for that one. Sydney Swans up against the Lions, the grand final rematch. The Swans, yeah, look, they probably impressed me a little bit more than I thought they were going to. Their tall forwards actually did look a bit better than they did last year, at least. But the Lions just seem super slick. They've got the Ashcrofts in there now. The Big O does a lot of damage as a ruckman. Zorko, Lockie Neal, the list goes on. So I think the Lions might get up, even though it is at the SCG. I reckon I'm going to go Brisbane for this one. Bulldogs up against the Kangaroos. Look, I think North Melbourne are going to improve this year. This probably in their mind is a 50-50 game, and maybe it is a bit more closer than what I think, but I think the Bulldogs have probably just got them covered for talent across the park. Even though the Dogs are missing Bonds and Treloar, they are big outs, don't get me wrong. And maybe they could be the undoing of them. That might be where the Kangas see they have a slight advantage. It'd be interesting to see how Caleb Daniel goes against his old side, whether there's any love lost there. But I think the Doggies will have a bit too much firepower. Sam Darcy looks to go to another level this year. Aaron Norton's a gun. And he's still got players like Liberatore doing their thing as well in the midfield. So we'll go the Bulldogs. Collingwood up against Port Adelaide. Look, the Pies were probably far from convincing, weren't they? In their game just gone. So I think, look, if the Power is serious about being a top 4 threat again, they need to start learning to win on the road. And I don't want to say Collingwood are easy beats by any stretch, but if their confidence is slightly down, Port Adelaide need to pounce on it. So I'm actually going to pick Port Adelaide for this one. And maybe a little bit of an upset. So we'll go the Power. The Crows against the Saints at Adelaide Oval. I think the Crows are in for a big year. The Saints have been hit with a few injuries as well, which isn't great. And the Crows will be looking for a bit of redemption from their season of 2024. So we'll back them in. The D's up against the Giants. Jeez, the Giants looked slick, didn't they? That was without Hogan, without Tom Green. Yeah, they are going to be, without Stringer, who's a new player there, they're going to be scary good when they've got a full list on the park. Finn Callahan looks absolutely worth every penny that they've paid him. I can't see Melbourne knocking them off. I think the Giants are going to be one of the teams to beat this year. They looked super, super good. And the final game, West Coast up against the Suns in Perth. The Suns typically don't travel very well. They've got a pretty bad track record when it comes to winning on the road. Obviously, that will probably turn at some point in time. I think these teams might be a little bit closer at the start of the year than what they will be at the end of the year, if that makes sense. So the Eagles were coming into this season pretty buoyed about where they're at, and they'll be looking to progress. And I think they might get the job done against Gold Coast. So I'll go for West Coast in that one for the last game of the round. So there you go. They are the footy tips for round one. I think in opening round I was 1-1, so split the difference. But let us know who you're tipping in the comments below, and good luck to all of your footy teams in round one for this weekend.